Right, my brother, we gotta talk about something very, very important. Ramadan is a cheat code for fat loss, but you're absolutely ruining the opportunity that you have in front of you. So the reason I want to make this video even in the first place is because I see a lot of people when it comes to the weeks before Ramadan, they're like, oh, I'm going to use this opportunity to lose a ton of weight and I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to, not eat fried food. I'm not going to go out with my friends and eat junk, till Fajr. I'm going to be exercising, I'm going to be walking, and then, which is all great, which is all wonderful, bro. But once the first couple of days of Ramadan are in, you realize that you set yourself up with these massively unrealistic expectations. So what happens? You fall back to your programming in terms of what you've been doing the past 11 months. Nothing really changes because who you are fundamentally hasn't changed. Who you see yourself as has not changed. Just because you enter this month of blessings and abundance of mercy and all this kind of stuff does not mean that you automatically just have a switch and things change in every area of your life. Ideally, I mean, that does happen for a lot of people because their hearts are at a point where they're ready to receive the month. And as soon as Ramadan comes, no matter what kind of life they've lived before the month has entered, they just switch because they have been waiting for this moment. But a lot of us, when it comes to our fitness and our health and wellness and all this kind of stuff, nothing really changes in Ramadan because it's for many different reasons. There's family pressure to like eat whatever has been made, or like you just put yourself in a position where you are just so tired. And well, I don't really see tiredness as a real thing. Like there are ways to mitigate it, to work around it. But what I'm trying to get at is you put yourself in a massively disadvantaged position because you don't see the month for the potential that it has, especially when it comes to your health. So in terms of weight loss or fat loss, as I prefer to call it, you have to understand that this month is a perfect opportunity for you to get started on that. Why do I say that? Because you have a calorie restricted window built into the month already. A lot of people, they hop on this train of intermittent fasting, which is fine, which is, if it works for you, it works for you. But Ramadan, we're fasting from dawn to sunset. It's already built into the schedule. So it's not like you have to do anything extra to limit the window in which you can have your calories. So the issue isn't, the window isn't there, or like I'm only supposed to eat like 2 times per day. The issue is what you're eating every single day and how you're going about the rest of your life and what your activity looks like and what choices you make. Because, like I said, Ramadan is a very special month. It's up to you to fully utilize it and to actually pair the worship that you're doing with a focus on health and fitness. Those two things can and should go together. They're not two separately divorced ideas. So what are some common mistakes, we make when it comes to our health? First of all is eating the wrong kinds of foods. Fried foods, sugary, junk, just all the bad foods that you can eat. We just find that this month is like, oh, we're just gonna eat so much because we've been fasting. Bro, come on, like you can do better than this. Just because you're fasting does not mean you get a pass to just indulge and just like gorge yourself on whatever food you could find. As soon as the sun sets, you're just stuffing your face with whatever you can find. No, that's not how you're supposed to do it. That's not good for your health, and it's not even per the advice of the Prophet ﷺ, where he was such a perfect example of how to live a life devoted to Allah, and everything he did was reflected in that. He always ate in moderation, no matter what was happening. And we find so many instances from the Seerah where his family did not have enough food for days on end. He only had dates and water. So the question becomes, like, how do we emulate that? When we have been blessed with so much food, how do we emulate that and still find a way to prioritize our health, and it comes down to the food choices you make. So that's the first mistake you're making. You're choosing the wrong foods simply out of convenience and simply because they're right in front of you, and you're not making a conscious decision to change that. And that's on you. You can't blame your family. You can't blame your mom or your wife or whoever is preparing the food and be like, oh, she made this, so I have to eat it. No. You as a man have the responsibility to change what you're putting in your mouth. It starts with you. It starts with you. So make the healthier choices. Don't really tell anyone that they have to make the choice as well. Show them what a healthy, strong Muslim man looks like, and they'll follow you. Because that's a whole other thing of like your leadership is so off because you don't lead yourself. But that's besides the point. So that's the first mistake. The second mistake is eating too close to bedtime. Now, this is a tricky one because this is unavoidable in many. I say unavoidable because the sleep schedule for almost everyone is like, we're running on low sleep, and that's just to be expected with this month. Because if you're praying Tarawih or you're doing some worship before going to bed, things are going to get in the way of your sleep. So that's unavoidable. But what I'm talking about is eating heavy meals. Like you had Iftar, then you prayed Maghrib, then you had your main meal, you went to the masjid, then you come back, you have a third meal, and by the time you've gone to bed, you've already consumed like 2,500 calories. All within the span of like 4 hours. That's not okay. Unless you're bulking, then disregard this advice. But having a very heavy meal before going to bed, I would say 2 hours before bed, is the perfect time for the cutoff, because you have to understand that your sleep quality also gets messed up when you do this. Like the reason why you feel so tired and you feel the need to to just snack and eat whatever food you can is because your sleep is not where it needs to be. You're so sleep deprived and your sleep quality is not good that's why you just feel this need to just eat whatever you want. So that's the second thing: eating too close to bedtime and eating way too much close to bedtime. The third thing is not training, not hitting the gym. I don't understand why guys who have even like a regular 9 to 5 can't hit the gym 2 to 3 times per week. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. And when I say hit the gym, it does not mean actually physically be in the gym. What I mean is do some kind of resistance training. You could do that at home with kettlebells, with dumbbells, with your body weight. Put your kids on your back and do push-ups. You could do something. I refuse to accept any excuse these days of like, oh, it's Ramadan, so I'm not going to train. I'm going to let my muscle mass just wither away just because I'm too lazy to do a 20-minute workout 3 times per week. I don't see how anyone can really justify that. The way I've been doing it, and it's been working pretty well, alhamdulillah, even with a full work schedule, is 30 minutes before Iftar, 3 times per week, every single week. It's only been 1 week, but, I do a resistance training workout in the gym. The way I structure it personally is I do a high intensity, low volume workout. So that what that means is anywhere from 1 to 2 compound exercises, 2 heavy sets of 6 to 10 reps, and then 1 to 2 accessory or isolation movements. 2 sets of 8 to 10 or 10 to 12 or 12 to 15, depending on the exercise. And that's it. That's literally all I do. Takes me no more than 25 to 30 minutes. I go in there, I hit my workout, and I'm out. That's it. But I push myself hard so that I get the maximum stimulus that I can. I'm not going for PRs. I rarely ever hit a PR in Ramadan. But what I do is give my body the stimulus to still hold on to muscle. This is this ties into the mistake of why not losing fat in Ramadan is because your body has no reason to keep on any muscle, which is more it's more active as a tissue than fat or any other component of your body. It needs a lot of energy. So when you have more muscle mass, you actually end up burning more calories because it's energetically so demanding. So you're doing yourself a massive disfavor by not training in Ramadan. You're not holding on to any muscle mass. You're potentially losing a lot of muscle mass, and you could be building some muscle mass and actually, improving the body composition and all that kind of good stuff. But you're shooting yourself in the foot by not doing this. Again, when I say workout, I'm not saying 2-hour marathon session in the gym where you're like, you're passing out. I'm not saying that. 20, 30, maximum 40 minutes before iftar is the perfect window for pretty much anyone who has, more than one responsibility. If you are working a job, you have a family, you have things going on that you have to take care of, I would highly advise against doing it after Tarawih, because your sleep will will not be there. If you're in college or something, I mean, you have the time, you can do whatever you want. But before iftar, 20, 30 minutes, get it in. I don't care how you do it, just don't give me any excuses on this. The last thing would be walking. Now, this is a bit of a tough one because it's hard to get in 10,000 steps. So don't even shoot for that. I would say 6 to 8,000 every single day. If you're consistently hitting 2,000-3,000 steps, even though you have the time and you're not like super exhausted or something, then that tells me that your body is not, you're not improving your blood flow, you're not getting your steps in, you're not doing the basic form of non-intense cardio that you could be doing. So these are some of the mistakes that you're making, and this is ruining what Ramadan can bring you in terms of blessing for helping you lose weight, which, again, like I said in the very beginning, is what a lot of people set out to do. They see Ramadan as like, oh, I'm going to be fasting anyway, so I might as well lose some weight. What happens instead, people either stay where they are, they lose a ton of muscle mass, or they gain weight because they made the wrong choices. So my intention with this was to show you the potential you're leaving on the table. And I'll leave it on this note. When we see the examples that we have in Muslim history of great Muslim men and women who strove in the path of Allah, what they embodied was ihsan. They embodied excellence at every moment in their lives, because they saw their life as valuable. They saw it as an opportunity to earn their paradise and get closer to Allah. They saw life for what it truly is. And so they left no stone unturned when it came to maximizing the opportunities that they had, especially in seasons like this, especially in Ramadan, when the way I like to think about it is like Ramadan, like paradise, Jannah is on sale right now. Like you would have to mess up so badly for you to not be forgiven. And I pray Allah grants me that, grants you that, and He doesn't make us of those who are so unfortunate that we just, Ramadan comes and goes and we're still not forgiven, and we're still in a bad place, and may Allah protect us from that. But what I'm trying to say is that you need to start embodying excellence, ihsan. It's no longer acceptable to just be just an average Muslim, because what the average means is that you're barely praying on time. Your fasts are just like you're just giving up food and water, but like nothing else in your life has really changed. Your behavior is still the same. You're making poor food choices simply out of convenience and simply because of peer pressure, and you don't have a mind for yourself. You don't think for yourself, and you don't see your body as an amana, a gift from Allah. Like, do you understand how blessed you are to have a body, to have the time, to have a gym or some workout equipment or just functioning legs, and you're still overweight? How break this down for me, bro. How do you have everything going for you and you're still 40 pounds overweight? If you've made poor choices in the past, it's just that they're poor choices. And where do those poor choices come from? It comes from a belief system, how you see things. And the main belief system that you're running on, your operating system, as you might call it, is that my life, I'm not grateful for the things I have, because of course I was supposed to have a body. Of course I was supposed to have all these things. No, you're not. I don't have to remind you that Muslims in other countries, Muslims in other areas, what they're going through. We've seen a year and a half of the worst possible atrocities against our Muslim brothers and sisters in Gaza. I do not have to remind you what the blessing of time and peace and a functioning body, what that truly means. I do not have to remind you. And if I have to, you've been living under a rock and I don't know what to tell you. So you're just not grateful for your body. I'm just going to say it plain and simple. You're not grateful for your health. Because if you were, you would try to maximize it as much as possible. And I'm not saying turn into a bodybuilder. That's the furthest thing I'll tell you, because bodybuilders, the whole culture around it is like just vanity and just, getting to a point where the pinnacle of your bodybuilding career is you standing like basically naked in front of other men judging you for your body, which is I mean, do what you want to do, but that's not my highest aspiration in life. I'm just going to be honest with you. So, but you can get to a point where where your BMI is healthy, where your belly is not hanging in front of you, where getting into sajda when you're praying in the masjid is not a struggle, where you're not self-conscious in whatever row you're standing in, like, oh, I'm taking up too much space because I'm 60 pounds overweight. That's not okay, bro. That's not okay. I don't care how many people in your family look like you in terms of being like, overweight. And the reason I'm picking on this is because I used to be 40 pounds overweight. I know what this is like. I know how much this affects you. I know how self-conscious you are all the time. When you're sitting at Iftar and you just had like a big meal and your family points out to you like, hey, why is your belly sticking out? That hurts. That's not okay. That's not supposed to be how you're supposed to be living. They're supposed to see you and be like, oh, he's in shape. I wonder what he does. Can he teach me something? You should be an example for your family and the people in your life. So I know I'm going on this massive tangent when it comes to like, all these different things. But the reason I'm saying this is because I want us to elevate. What I hope for, and I say this because I used to be in this position, like I said, where I was 40 pounds overweight, and I want to get to a point. I want to create change with other brothers who are who think the same way I do, where almost everyone in the masjid, in the men's section, should be healthy, should be fit, should be at a healthy BMI. BMI is not the end all be all, by the way, but you should not be massively overweight or too weak to do anything that's required of you as a man. I would say 98% of people, fine if you're too elderly, fine, I get that. But even elderly or uncles, they should be in shape. They should be able to walk without needing any assistance. There's so many things that are just off, simply because we're not making the right choices and because we're not grateful for the body that we have. It's just as simple as that. If we truly knew what a blessing it was and how Allah will actually ask us about this, I'll end on this note. If nothing else, gets you moving, pun not intended, is realizing that Allah will ask you what you did with your body. Imagine showing up on the Day of Judgment. You have your fasts, your prayers, your hajj, your umrah, your zikr, and then Allah asks you not about those things. Well, I mean, he will, but what he also asks you is like, I gave you a body, how did you treat it? And you're forced, your body tells Allah, because we know that our body parts speak to Allah, he abused me. He put oily food in me at Iftar, and he treated me like crap because he thought he had another one hanging up in the closet that he could replace me with. Do you not think Allah is going to judge you for that? Do you not think he's going to ask you, why did you treat this body that I gave you, that I fashioned for you like junk? Like it was just a throwaway thing? That's a question I have to answer and that you will have to answer. So, bro, I'm being harsh with you. I'm telling you the truth as it is because I care about you. It pains me. It pains me when I see brothers with either they're single or they have their families, but they look like it's just so it makes me sad that seeing guys who just could be in such good shape, but they've let themselves go simply because of the choices that they make and how they do not value their life. They value their health. It's a shame, and I want to change that. because I was able to change it for myself. Alhamdulillah. I was able to do it for some of my friends, my clients, because I am an online fitness coach. I help Muslim men specifically get in shape. So if that's something that you are interested in, shoot me a DM on Instagram, or you can fill out the application below. But I'm passionate about this because I'm telling you, losing 40 pounds for me personally did so much for my iman than anything else could have really done, because it showed me what being grateful for your health can do, what being grateful for your blessing that Allah has given you can do for you. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Hope you have a wonderful Jummah. If you're watching this on the day it's being uploaded, or maybe the day after. And may Allah bless you in Ramadan. And inshallah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.